It's Boxing Day. You have just spent the last 24 hours doing a very subtle dance between listening to your insane family member chew your ear off about his latest conspiracy theory, drink just enough to be able to listen to your uncle talk to you about immigration, all the while help your mother in the kitchen. She has been slaving away for the past couple of days. You roll out of bed very hungover. You walk past the leftovers, still festering on the kitchen table, and turn on the cricket. It is 35 degrees outside. The cicadas, they are on full volume. They are turning it up to 11. The first ball is about to be bowled. You crack a tin of VB. This is the MCG. This is the Boxing Day test. Welcome back to another episode of Aussie Google Earth Explorer. This is the MCG. This is as good as it gets. This is the Melbourne Cricket Ground. I don't care who you are, where you're watching this from in the world. All right, you can take your Lords, you can take your Edgbaston. Hopefully Bumrah doesn't take too many wickets. It doesn't get better than this. This is the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Now let's just have a look at this thing in all its glory. I mean, what a stadium. What a stadium, man. This is sick. It has an insane history. All of the best sporting moments happen here. The AFL Grand Final is played here each year. They've played State of Origin games here. They've had World Cup cricket finals here. The 1956 Summer Olympics, this was the main stadium for the Olympics. So many things have happened here. Okay, so many things have happened here. It is a brilliant stadium. Built in 1853, this is the largest stadium in the Southern Hemisphere, believe it or not. In its modern configuration, and this is important to distinguish because this place used to be a little bit different, right? But we're talking in its modern configuration. It used to hold about 100, the record for this stadium is actually 140,000 people. And it was at this like Christian rally in the 70s, I believe. It was a really, really odd, I think it was like an evangelical Christian like held an event here. And they packed in 140,000 people, if you can believe it or not. But in its modern configuration, 109,500 people went to an Ed Sheeran concert here. And he played in the round. So he was performing in the middle, and that's why you could fit so many more people in, because he didn't have a stage blocking out half the venue like a lot of people do when they do shows here. So he played what they call in the round. 109,500 people. Like I mentioned, this was the main stadium for the 1956 Olympics, so they would have done all the track and field events here. They would have had the opening and closing ceremony here. This would have been, the main arena for the Olympics. The first cricket match here ever played was played on the 30th of September, 1854. 1854, so only a couple of years after it was built, well, actually the year after it was built in 1853, the first cricket match was played here. Our first test ever played here was 1877 against England. I hope we won that one. I didn't look it up, but let's just say for the sake of the video, we won, and we won well. Biggest crowd for a cricket game here, 93,000 people. That was the World Cup final, actually, in 2015. Most runs, Don Bradman, of course, the Don. Most runs here, 1,671. Highest score, Bob Cowper, 307. And most wickets, Dennis Lillee. Wow, Dennis Lillee, 82 wickets here scored here. And imagine that, copping a Dennis Lillee bouncer. You're in the centre pitch here. I mean, this is set up for cricket. You can see the pitches here. Warne, 350 wickets. Bang. This is actually, they had Shane Warne's funeral, well, part of his funeral. They had the big celebration thing here. His funeral was at a church, but then they opened up the MCG and they had Warney's funeral sort of here. He was a Melbourne guy, but look at that, Warne 350. Pretty sick that you can see that on Google Earth. Let's just have a little zoom out here and let's just check out where we are, because the reason why, apart from being an incredible stadium, the reason why the MCG is so iconic and is so revered is just physically because of its location. If we just zoom out a little bit and just look at where the MCG is, and excuse my controls going a bit haywire here, it's right next to the city. Okay, it's right next to the city. So you can just be in here having a few beers, whatever, have dinner, and you can literally walk to the MCG from the city, which is such an advantage. You don't have to catch public transport. There is tram lines that you can catch along this road, and it's super easy to get here. Obviously, the trains stop as well, but Mate, it's proximity to the city, and in fact, this whole area here is really, really well set up. And we can see a couple of the other ovals, and let's just have a little look around here. This is Punt Road Oval, so this is where Richmond Football Club trains, and this is their main facility here. This is Amy Park, where the Melbourne Storm, which is an NRL team, this is where they play their games. This is their home ground. If you look over here, this is the Australian Open, which is the tennis competition that happens every year in January. This is where that is held. Now, this is where the Australian Open final is played. This is Rod Laver Arena. This is Margaret Court Arena over here. And this is the sort of the grounds, the sort of ground zero where that tournament is held. So there's so many things happening in this area. It's incredible. This whole precinct here, this is the Melbourne precinct, this is so well set up. And I think that it really adds to the fact that this stadium is so great. You know, not only is it great, but it's in a great location, and transport's super easy, and it's really a stadium for the people, right? It's really a stadium for the people, unless you're an MCG member and you're super rich and, you know, you look down upon everyone else. But whatever, each to their own. Let's actually have a little bit of a look at some of the reviews here for the MCG, because we like to check out some reviews when we do these shows and see what the people are saying. Let's have a little look. This person has said, been here multiple times for multiple games. It's the best cricket ground in all of Australia. I would, probably agree with that. The crowds at the AFL and NRL are very different. Oh, okay, so now we're talking NRL and AFL, a bit different. You want to be pelted with beer cans and have men fall over you? Go to the rugby league. They've said, not rugby league, but rugby league. But if you want to have a good time and watch the better sport, go to the AFL. And now they've written in all capitals, also include toilet brushes in all the bathrooms urgently. Thank you, Melbourne, for all the experiences, even though your bathrooms don't have toilet brushes. Okay, well, a very specific review here about the toilet brushes in the MCG. Not sure what to make of that, but someone maybe has, done a number 2, or someone has been in a toilet and the person's done a number 2, and there's, they've left behind a little bit of a present, perhaps. Maybe that could be what that's about. This person has said, the MCG is the biggest and most spectacular sporting precinct in Australia. Yes, I would agree with that. It is such a vibrant venue, delivering one of the best sporting atmospheres in the world. I would recommend visiting even if you're not a sports person, as this place is all about the experience. Facilities are great, and the stadium is easily accessible via public transport. Food and drink are reasonably priced for a sports venue. Yeah, it's great. If you've never been to the MCG, and you're not even a sports fan, you can actually do a tour of this place. It costs like $20, $30, and they take you around the whole MCG. They show you all the locker rooms, the change rooms, the grounds that the public aren't able to access. You get to go to the memorabilia, the museum inside the MCG, and check out the history. It's really, really worthwhile just to see how a place this big runs, and some of the history. I recommend doing the tour if you've never done the tour. A couple more reviews here, and sometimes we read bad reviews as well, just to give a bit more colour. This person has said, this is the place where I had the worst spicy margarita I've ever had in my life. Disappointed. Well, look, I'll be honest. I'm not going to the MCG for a spicy marg, but I will say the spicy margarita has taken over the margarita game. Like when you go, I used to work in bars, and no one ordered spicy margs. But then over time, the spicy marg became 10% of the orders, 20% of the orders. I would say the spicy marg at the moment is number 1 cocktail in Australia. I would say spicy marg is number 1. This person has said, it's a massive stadium. Sadly, you end up being so far away from the action. The atmosphere is dead. Prefer the Gabba, where you're closer to the action. It's more intimate. Well, that's just a Queenslander writing a bad review. So look, Queenslanders, whatever, you go away complaining a lot. Look, let's cut to the chase here. The MCG, this is the Boxing Day test, and what is my review for the game? What do I think is going to happen? The Boxing Day test this year is locked up currently. It's a 1-1 draw. We've just had a rained-out Brisbane test, and we're going to this game 1-1. Now, a huge inclusion in the Australian team. Sam Constas has been brought in. The teenager Sam Constas has been brought in for McSweeney. McSweeney dropped after only 3 games. I think that's pretty harsh considering he's been facing Bumrah. Everyone's been getting out. McSweeney's been doing a pretty decent job, I think, taking the shine off the ball. But, In saying that, they brought in Constas. This kid is electric. I watched him bat in the Big Bash the other day, fastest 50 in Sydney Thunder history or something like that. He was absolutely smacking it. And he's playing. And imagine the pressure that this kid is going to be under for this game. Imagine the pressure. And my review is this. We bat first. Australia bats first, okay? It's hot. It's going to be hot. I have a feeling it's going to be a classic Boxing Day test in Melbourne. It's going to be super hot, okay? Constas comes in. He bats at 1. I'm thinking he tons up before lunch, a la David Warner. I think he's going to go out there and he is going to absolutely smack Bumrah around. I think Constas is going to century this bad boy in this game. That's what I think. There is absolutely no way Bumrah tears through the Australian attack and we collapse in an absolute heat. Okay, there is absolutely no way Bumrah makes us look like children at the MCG. It just can't happen. I just think it can't happen. All right? There's no way Bumrah gets us all out only to freaking have Jasprit come in and KL Rahul and just put on an absolute clinic. There's just no way it can happen. There's just no way it can happen. I think Australia win this game. I think they win well. And then we go to Sydney for the New Year's test. I mean, look at this place. The MCG, what a ground. I hope you enjoyed that video. We'll be doing some more of these, but I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.